I hear that, Mumbo.
I know. Joe, you'll have to just let him in. Oh,
Oh my God, here we go.
I got you.
All right, we're live. Let's just wait for some people to
Sure.
click on me. Whew, hard for me to stare at that screen, so I'm going to give this a good go here.
Okay.
I can't read the comments, so Chris is going to read me the comments.
All right.
Good evening, everyone. A little late. There we go. People are coming on. I know, a little late. Not our fault.
My fault.
I agree. We are here, as promised, with Donna Marian. Okay, here we go. We got more people coming in. Monday night, we're here with our special guest, Donna Marian, who's a good friend of ours that we've known for a while now. Those of you who don't know, Donna Marian is the owner of the Creeper Gallery in New Hope, Pennsylvania. And Donna, I'll let you describe what the Creeper Gallery is. You'll probably do better at that than I would.
It's a gallery with one-of-a-kind art and peculiar.
Created by you. Created by you, right?
Yes, and I have a business partner, Madam Clara. They do some little sculptures and some bigger sculptures and like tarot cards and stuff like that. And then we have a little back room that we call the Red Room, and I have haunted items.
So that's just a brief overview. If you guys have questions tonight, you could put them in the comment area there, and Chris is going to be monitoring them, and she'll ask Donna as we go. So Chris will keep an eye on that and get your questions in if you have any for her. Like I said, we've known Donna for a couple of years now, several years now.
Yeah.
And the way we came to know Donna was because I reached out to her just about coming on our cable access show and interviewing her about the Creeper Gallery. And we went in there, filmed an episode about the Creeper Gallery. And that was one of probably, 3 that we did.
Right.
After that, and Donna and I became friends. And, Donna's a little difficult, but I have the patience of a saint. So Chris will tell you that. So Donna and I have become good friends, close friends. And we worked it out to where, when Donna does bring these objects into the Creeper Gallery, we're fortunate enough to go in there. We have a key where we could actually investigate these objects and give her anything that we catch when we do it live or otherwise. And but Donna's the one who gets these objects and finds these objects. So Donna, I'll let you describe kind of how you've been doing that all these years. What was the idea that got you even started doing that?
Well, I've always collected items with attachments. But there was never a market for it. It was kind of taboo my whole life. I'm 70, so for 50 years it was very taboo. You ended up in a mental institute if you believe this stuff. And but I always bought it, always kept it. A lot of my home furnishings had attachments, but I didn't think it was something that was viable for a retail market. But I did want to have a little bit of it because it is kind of an oddity in itself. So I have the ability to know when something has an attachment, but I need to take it out of that realm, and I'll do the research on it, and I'll gather as much of the claims as I can gather, and then I hand it off to mediums and you guys.
So that's a good point that you just brought up there, and you and I have talked about this before, and you don't really go into it, and you don't have to if you don't want to, but it's kind of like some objects you just acquire because
yes,
and others you acquire because people claim they have them and they want to get rid of them or whatever. How would you describe knowing? Do you touch them? Is it just a feeling?
I know that's a question that they ask a lot of people that can do this. It's just there. Like, it comes right into your head. So I work with Armand. You do. And like he said, it's a knowing, just there. I could put my hand on something and just know that it has an attachment. I know there's something good, bad. I know if it's a child, I know if it's sad, and I take it, and even when people have claims, it's hard when I buy online things or people tell me about things and they want to send them, because I can't really, I can look at a picture and get some sense, but
Right.
I'd rather hold it. That's my particular preference. Hold it to know if it has an attachment to it. I don't, of course, always know how good or bad. And there have been items I've held where nothing's been there when I touched them and have no clue that they have an attachment. So I don't know if the spirit was.
A lot of people don't know. I don't know if they know or not, but most, if not all of these objects are in your home or your studio before they come into
Absolutely
the creeper gallery.
I live with them. They're
all and I know that. Even that dog has an attachment that back there that I hear.
I'll let him in.
Teddy. Teddy. Got me call him Teddy now.
No, don't.
Momo.
He needs to be with his mom. So
I know, he's going through withdrawals there. So, when you bring them into your home, you have had some items that weren't positive attachments, whatever you want to call them, that have affected you in your home. Yes. Now, why, again, for your own perspective, why would you do that? Why would you even take that chance of doing that? Why not just store them somewhere like John Zaffis has his
But they're stored forever. And I'm selling them.
But why bring them into your home? That's more the question. Like,
find out otherwise.
So that's why you're doing it.
If I don't live with them, what if it's something really horrible, and I put it in the shop and not aware of how bad it is or what it can do, and then I send it home with somebody that has absolutely no experience. I feel good about that. So I want to make sure that I can have it sit next to me. And I believe, well, for me anyway, I'm most open and vulnerable right before I fall asleep.
Okay.
So all day long, if it's in my bedroom next to where I sleep, I'm not really paying attention to it. But when I'm falling asleep, it's right there. And if it's going to connect, it's going to connect right at that moment, or I give it plenty of time, a couple of weeks I interact with it to see if it's going to respond. And I've had some, like that church with the little people with the mean man.
I love that one, man. I'm sorry to see that one go.
I know, and quick, but it sat here for 2 weeks, and there was shuffling on the inside every night. And it was not just I heard it. My husband and the dogs heard it too. So it would do it every night.
Like, we got it when you passed it on for us to investigate. That's what was so cool.
Yeah.
That was a little creepy guy.
Yeah.
In the back row. I love that guy.
I know. Plus, that was the claim. But, I wanted to see it for myself, hear it for myself, feel it for myself, see it for myself. I want to know, because just because he did that, just because it shuffled, doesn't mean there couldn't be anything bad connected. You know what I mean? At that time, it was just kind of, a little ugly green guy, roaming around in there. But and it was in a section of the church that actually you couldn't get into. So there was another whole section. I don't even know what was in there, but that's where the shuffling would be. So I knew that at worst, that's what it would do.
That's a good point that you brought up. And again, it makes me think even you and I have talked in nausea about how haunted objects are now like the fad of they're everywhere. Everybody has one. Everybody wants to buy them. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that, but here's the difference in between buying the eBay thing or the Etsy thing or whatever and doing what you do. And I'm not just saying this because I'm your friend. You know me. If it's crap, I'm going to tell you it's crap.
I appreciate it. And I did this long before I knew you.
Right.
The way I do it now.
But I'm saying that the method of acquiring the item either by your, whatever you want to call it, intuitiveness, whatever, or by somebody else saying, hey, this thing is bad or good or whatever, the fact that you would bring it in your home and that's the lab. You're testing this thing out in your personal space to see what it would be like potentially for others to bring it into their home. And for a week or two, I mean, over a night, people would go, okay, anything weird, done, get it out.
And in bed, you're most vulnerable. You're vulnerable. So, like I say, I don't know much about mediums and psychics and all that. Me personally, right before I fall asleep, if something's happening in the house, it's happening to me then. And I know exactly who it is. I get names, I get events, I get visions of them. I know exactly, but it's just such a small period of time that I can catch that in. Because once I'm asleep, But right then, it's just my time to really hear or experience what it's going to do, if it's going to do anything.
And you're most vulnerable then in that state too.
Well, that's why they come, because they can get to you then, right?
And Kathy wants to know, how do you clear yourself in home if you have an object that is really negative?
Ever. Sorry, a funny story. I've been sick for a couple of weeks with a cough. You can hear it. I'm getting over it now. But they put me on steroids. And 2 days after I started the steroids, my husband said all night long, all these odd voices were coming out of my body and waking him up. I said, well, that's just the ghosts on steroids. You don't know. I mean, they could be inhabiting us. You don't know, what's going on. Wait a minute.
What you're hearing in the background is that little terror called Momo, who's having anxiety from his mama being away from him.
Let me let him in. I can only let him in, though.
Well, Momo's going to steal the show.
Well, hopefully he lays on the bed with me and shuts up. Oh, my God, Mo.
I don't think the audience is going to mind that Momo's
You're going to meet Mo. There it is. That's a demon if I ever saw one. Momo!
Hey, Mo!
What you doing, Momo?
Hey, Momo!
Hey, buddy! You better run for the hills, buddy.
Yeah.
There he goes. Hey, Momo! What you doing, Momo?
He knows
your run for it.
He knows your voice.
I know. What's up, Momo?
Oh, you're going to rile.
Loves his mama. Loves his mama.
Oh,
look at the separation anxiety.
Who's going to be? All right.
He was so upset.
Good luck with that.
God.
Mama, I'm going to come over there.
And you are. You're going to.
So anyway, is he still around there?
Yeah.
All right. There he is. Hello, Momo.
Oh.
So anyway, like we were talking about, what did you ask her about cleansing?
Cleansing and getting rid of negative. Do you have,
No, I never do.
Never have?
In my times, you didn't have any of that. If you were Wiccan or, pagan, they had some things like that. But, when coming up, nobody taught us how to clear the air. We lived with all this, right? So, like I said, you couldn't talk about it. If you can't talk about it, then how do you learn how to cleanse and all that? I've never done it. I'm kind of like you, John. I need to experience that for me.
Yeah, well, John's almost blind from dealing with all the negative stuff. And so maybe it's catching up with me.
No.
But part of that process too, again, another thing that drew me to Donna before we even got involved was she took these objects home. She kind of tried to get a better idea, knowing that, you're responsible when you're selling quote unquote haunted objects. You can't just, here's the story of the little girl that's attached to the vessel and blah, 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 that, you get a little piece of paper that comes with eBay things. And, and then she would, at the time it was Jeanette who I really like Jeanette, and we met Jeanette. And Jeanette doesn't even call herself a medium. She's more intuitive type of, and Jeanette would give her impressions of the object and Donna would do the research. And then you have had a better, at least idea of where the object came from, what was the backstory, of the object, what people were claiming was going on with the object. Donna lived with it.
Right.
Jeanette got her impressions. And then, I said to her, why not let us come in and see what we could see if we could either, validate or document anything related or get more out of these objects with a voice or whatever.
Right.
And that process alone, I think, I know they're watching,
brings it around.
It's very unique in that, it's different, and it really does. To me, if I was someone buying an object that was quote unquote haunted, I would want assurances. I mean, you can never predict anything.
And you can't guarantee anything.
No, you can't predict with anything what the level of activity and how bad. You can give them an idea.
Right.
But then it's up to the buyer. They assume more responsibility once they take that thing out of the store. And not that we wouldn't help them if things got really,
if you can,
bad.
If you can. But I think of it as like you're the puzzle keeper, and you look for all those pieces of that puzzle to try to give a fuller picture for the buyer.
Right, and it's never 100%. It can't be.
No,
because none of us knows, right? And we know what we're getting. We know how it's piecing together, but we can never give that entire story. It's like you always say, an entire life on a little 3x5 card.
You can't do it.
You wrap that up, so we have a story like about Ike, that fought in the war, got killed with mustard gas, but then the psychic tells us, there's something bad, there was like a murder or something like that, but you don't know what that man did in his life. We have no way of knowing. He could have murdered somebody.
But even if you take the good items, forget about that. Well, the negative stuff we'll get around to. Right. But I think one of the things that I really love about even being part of this whole process is that how great it would be for anybody that is a celebrity to have their name and their story and their memory live on. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's such a cool thing. Part of what you do is that, and I touch on this every time we investigate there, like that Harry.
Harry
was a prime example of that. Right. Here's a guy kind of obscure, except for the people that maybe knew him back in those times.
Right.
And here's this thing that belonged to him and that he kept and took care of. Sure. And now we kind of bring that story, and even the people that own it and keep it, that memory is part of that. And his life is part of that.
So we got a question from you from Annette. Annette says, has anyone ever bought anything back to the shop because they don't want it in their home anymore?
You've had people ask to.
And I've sold hundreds of items. What happens is the people that buy it. I had one lady a little concerned about a doll. I think she contacted you. Ended up going to a church, getting it blessed or whatever. Never had a problem with it. The thing is, I think people enjoy being part of the story because after I sell it, they come in and tell me what's happened to them. So then that story continues from where they've taken possession of it. Now it's their story to tell, not mine.
So it doesn't end after you sell it.
No, it doesn't. And people come in even that bought something a couple of years ago, and they'll still tell me everything that's going on. And I think that's great. And I always say, just write it down, add it to the story, because in 50 years, nobody will know what the heck, we're talking about.
So how did it end up years ago when we first started with you? We did do an investigation and he actually thought it was driftwood until you told him it was a foot, a leg, it wasn't leg.
I just sold it. It's going to.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's going to Australia where Jack was.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
He's been wanting it. So I finally they weren't allowing shipping coming into Australia for a while. I guess they are now. But he said, I absolutely want it still. So I just sold it to him. He's going to get it shipped to him this week.
I know the kind of crazy stuff that we've dealt with through the years, and we're going to get into more stories in a little bit here, but just an overview of the madness that we've dealt with since we've known her. I do recall wallpaper with like blood and flesh on it from a murder scene. what was the other, a voodoo doll with like teeth. I didn't know there was freaking teeth in the thing
You
until I
You found them.
jokingly
She didn't
lift
even know
up
they
the
were
breast
there.
skirt and said, I wonder if it's male and female, human teeth. Hello. And again, I regretted that. But
somebody asked us, is it a boy or a girl? I didn't know.
I did.
You
And I
did.
looked.
And I looked it up.
And then, but along those same lines of the things that I mentioned, curse box, and we'll get into all that stuff. Has there ever been an item that you've refused because you felt something really terrible, bad, and said, no?
No.
Because she's like you. She wants to be open
Yeah,
and
I know.
experience everything.
That's why I asked her. I wanted her to say it, not me.
Would you refuse?
No, never. Although that's not true. And you.
I mean, once you know that it can affect you,
right? Exactly.
But if you don't know, and it's just listen to him,
just a story.
No, I could never refuse it. I couldn't. As a matter of fact, I searched them out. So
yeah. She's got that curiosity about her, and that's how she wound up. Well, we're going to get into all that in a minute.
Bonnie wants to know: do some objects react differently to different people?
Yes, absolutely, and I think they react to moods too. So if you go in some night, you're in a good mood. I think they sometimes react better. If there's
anybody you would refuse to sell to?
Anybody I would refuse? No, it depends on the circumstance. I would not sell a negative item to somebody that does have no experience with this stuff.
Yeah.
So I try not to sell anything that has bad juju to somebody that has no clue, that thinks they I would never do that, because you and I both know you can't handle it, when you can't fix it. Once that genie's out of the box, you really can't fix it. I don't believe you can fix it.
No. Rosa wants to know what was the most valuable item, but value how so is what I would ask this person. What do they mean by value? Money, monetarily, or? I mean, to me,
she's got some antique stuff that is.
I buy a lot of expensive antique items that have attachments.
Yeah.
And I've had some things worth $10,000. Most of my stuff though, like the most expensive item in the shop right now would probably be that Bad Juju book. And that's a $2,000 book.
Oofa. Yeah. We'll get into that.
So I'm going to go real back to that because Rosa actually said it's sentimental value.
Oh, sentimental value. Oh my God. There's tons of sentimental value items. I actually just brought an item in. You haven't seen it yet. It's a suitcase from the 1800s. And it's got an entire family's life in it.
Wow.
All the clothing they wore and made, all the children's stuff, some hair, your favorite thing. But it also has a photo album of every individual person in the family. And then the one sibling actually attached notes to all the clothing and shoes and hair and everything with their names on it, with their birth dates and their death dates and what happened to them. It's tragic. And I just brought it in. I put the entire suitcase in a case. And it's their whole world. It's two of the sons. The first and second son died young, 9 and 11. The one son was an invalid. Even the one daughter, she died in her 30s. They were farmers in Ohio. And how this suitcase, with everything intact, came to be, it's just unreal to me. But heavy attachment of Dimmitt. Dimmitt's attached in Ira. You'll meet them.
Again, some of the stranger things I'm just running through my brain here, besides the voodoo doll and the wallpaper. I can't remember the first name, but Fisher, the gnome. That was a good one that I'll never forget.
Curtis. He was my, neighbor.
So Curtis Fisher was, I don't even remember the story, but I remember how he died.
Curtis is a pedophile, right?
Well, no.
Or a molester.
Kidnapped a woman on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And held her hostage in his basement.
Yeah.
And then he went, to jail for that. But then when COVID hit,
they let him out early.
Let him out with an ankle monitor. And he started one night. He must have got drunk, or I know he was on drugs. And he started being goofy, and the cop, trying to do a standoff with the cops. And then he ended up in his house and shooting fireworks.
Yeah.
But his whole living room must have been full of fireworks because he lit the whole house up and blew himself up.
Oh my God. But again,
well, that's why the domes were melted.
I mean, going back again, as far as SLS figures, one of the rare catches ever. I go back and watch it. I don't want to go too much into it, but Curtis was a naughty boy.
Yeah, somebody wants to know what Dimmits are.
Oh no, Dimmitt is the child's name that died on that suitcase I was talking about. His name was Dimmitt. So I say you guys will meet him the next time you go.
No, the voodoo doll was gone a long time ago, the one that we're talking about. We're going to get into what Donna's going to be doing Friday, which I'm going to be part of. We're both going to be part of. But for now, we're just talking again of overview of the Creeper Gallery, the haunted objects, leading up to what we're going to be talking about. I mean, I could tease it now. Donna's going to be doing. I'll let you describe it, Donna, because it's your thing.
It's exclusive. Nobody's doing it yet. Everybody's doing auctions on Instagram and Facebook, but nobody's doing a haunted item auction. And it's not going to be the sole way I sell the items, but I thought it would open up a larger audience because there's a lot of people that can't get to the Red Room. Yep. And this way,
a lot of people that are watching right now are from Jersey or PA. I mean,
right, exactly. And I get a lot of people throughout the country that say, "Oh, I wish we were close," because I want to do it. So I thought it was a good opportunity to. It's only going to be 4 items, which are fully investigated. You get, and then I also am doing like folders for every one of them, which has most of the investigation, most of the impressions of the mediums, the claims, everything that we have.
Yep.
And I've been running your little video clips of the investigation on those items. So it's going to be our first time. I'm a little nervous. But I'll have you there so you can get me through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be interesting again, because again, this is when you have a brick and mortar, and people do come into that store every weekend all the time, but it kind of does limit to people who are there at the time, whichever time it is.
Right.
But this will definitely be a different and innovative way of, and I'm sure it'll be copied and taken and
by tomorrow.
Now someone will be doing it tomorrow because we just mentioned it. But again, Donna, her process is different than all those other people, the way they do it. And the fact that, again, we do these live investigations of these objects, nobody's doing that either.
And now every item is actually numbered, certified by the Creeper Gallery.
Yep.
It gets a little metal tag and the number is cataloged. So if your item doesn't have that tag, it's not one of mine.
Right.
So this way I'm laying claim to the items that we take care of and do it correctly, because there's so many doing it wrong. They got a cat ball that goes off and they call it home.
Luann would like to know, is the Creeper Gallery only open on the weekends?
Only on the weekends. And the reason being, I'm the artist and I have to make the art, and my art's pretty complex. So I actually work 7 days a week. I don't have a day off. So I do work all morning on art. I usually work the afternoon on the haunted items or acquiring other oddities or, antiques. And that's my everyday. So the only day I'm there in the shop is on Sundays. But and the town itself is a weekend town.
Definitely.
Many people come in through the week. It's a tourist town.
The art itself is amazing. Again, I'm not just saying that because you're my friend. I'm not a fan of art. Look at me. Do I look like I'm an art guy? But I love the stuff that Donna does. I really do. Madame Clara too. I think Rick, right? Rick?
Especially the squirrels.
Taxidermy, you can keep that shit.
I don't done a squirrel in a while.
I don't like messing with animals. I don't do anything with animals. But
I have one in there, I guess. But yeah, I haven't really done squirrels in a bit.
That's why she's being terrorized by one.
Frogs
because
are
it's
your
karma
one you've been working on, right?
Going back around and around. So again, some of the items Donna has gotten through the years before we started doing this, I did believe that objects could be haunted. Of course, I believed in it, but I didn't know what that meant. You know what I mean? And then we got involved with her, and there were different experiences, but some of them got to be downright
Ugly.
scary and dangerous. I mean, not in a fake way or a TV way,
deadly.
in a real life consequences type of way. I mean, the Cape was the first one that kind of attached to me, and I never felt anything like that before. Then after that, we had the curse
board.
Box. I mean,
the Ouija board too.
Well, yeah, but the curse box was the big, scary beast. I've never curses. I never believed in. Never believed in curses. I really didn't. I mean, I thought it was gypsy mumbo jumbo. I didn't think they were real. And when she was telling me, I acquired this box. It's got wax all over it, all these nails in it, and supposedly, I mean, real quick, could you tell that story in like a minute or two?
How I got it?
Where that box came from and what the story was around it?
I was looking on Etsy for something. I don't even think it was to buy like an antique. I was just looking for like parts for a piece I was working on. And I happened to see at the bottom of Etsy, when you're in looking at things, they'll show you related things that you can click on. And under there came this box with this cross. And as soon as I saw it, I had to own it. The knowing kicked in, and I went in, and they were calling it a Dybbuk box. And they didn't want to answer any questions. They said they didn't have any answers to any questions. So I bought it outright. And then I asked the question. I'm sorry, this dog's biting my entire ankle.
Oh my God.
But then I asked the questions, and they gave me quite a bit of information. They wouldn't confirm if it was haunted, of course, but they did finally break down and tell me where exactly it came from, an auction over in England in 2017, and what property it came from. So I did get quite a bit of information, and that was good enough. And so then the games began with it, where
the research itself was phenomenal. I mean, what you uncovered.
Yep.
About the guy, William, and the person. Oh my God.
Yeah. So it was like one cover up over another. And, but I was able to crack most of that, and then we did that initial investigation, which was pretty interesting talking,
But the mystery was what's in the box.
Well, I got it x-rayed.
Yeah.
Looked like jewels, and I'm like,
But we were all wondering, why did someone go through that
But before she did that, and we went in there and did that investigation, do you remember what word came up that kind of took us all aback? And you were there.
Well, I know the word poltergeist came up.
And it said devil.
Oh, devil, yeah, it did say. Yeah.
But that was the big mystery. What is in there? Why would people go through such lengths to seal this thing up and bury it?
It was kind of an enigma because
it
was double waxed. It was burned.
Someone didn't want it open.
Yeah, there were no fires on that estate.
But then Donna forced me, literally forced me, said, look, you're opening this thing with me. And I said, Donna, I don't think it's a good idea. And she said, you're doing it. And I said, all right, if I have to, you have to.
Well, actually, that morning, you remember, my business partner at the time, her mother and dog died 5 minutes apart.
I know. Oh my, that should have been enough.
And then I had the Ovilus hooked up to the box, and it kept telling me not to open it.
And then our buddy Donna,
Wiccan elder friend, who helped me as far as ley lines and all this, mystical stuff that I don't understand. She helped me as far as what we should use for protection, how to go.
But even our buddy Donna said, you said, we're going to take precautions. We're going to use protection. Donna said, whatever you do, not enough. No, you're going to have to do more.
Jeanette said that.
Yeah, Jeanette said that.
But the thing is, everybody that day has somehow been affected by it. And the thing is, we did do as much. And that's why I'm still not a believer in protection, because it didn't work for that.
No, something that powerful can't.
I had the elders doing, prayers or whatever, and, all kind of protection things. But you know what? I just think, we opened it, but do you really think that we had to cut it open for the spirits to come out?
I think
you disturbed
yeah,
it.
I think we disturbed something that
I think it was
may have been contained. If you believe,
I
like
think
John
you pissed it
Zaffis will cleanse and bind items before he puts them in his museum. Now, let's say that works, okay? I don't know. Let's say that's what they did,
Right.
Whatever their version of that was. And it did
Right.
contain whatever was there in some fashion, not the full force of it, but some fashion. And you forced me to go and open that, and then we release. And there are bad things that happen after that we won't get into, but that was a powerful thing.
Still.
Tangible.
Still is.
I still think there's things being of people.
I won't look at that box. I won't talk to that box. And I would never take that box out again.
She's gone now. Right after the box, she lost her leg. Right after that, she got COVID and she's gone.
Wow.
So there's a lot that happened with that box. So
and this is what we're talking about: real world, real life. The sensors, again, used for exorcisms. These are, religious items that
they haven't really hurt anybody.
No, but they've got bad potential.
Oh, they got.
I don't like them.
No,
I wouldn't poke that bear too much.
I don't like either. I know what's there, but I haven't seen what it can do. We haven't really seen what they can do.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I wouldn't poke that bear too much. So these are the type of things that I'm talking about. And the latest one, and we can't get too deep into this, and I've referenced this before, is the book that you were talking about before that has the Latin writing that was protected by nuns for all of those years since its existence. And now you have it, and
it's bad.
Yeah, it's very bad. Very, very bad.
Yeah, so it's so now what I've done is I put that book in with the box. It's kind of like a paranormal nuclear bomb, right?
Oh, good for you. Yeah.
Somebody just mentioned about the fact they said they went into the creeper gallery and go, we didn't see the box. And at the time you had the box covered, right?
Yeah, I was so angry at the time. I couldn't look at it, right? I've made my peace. I'm not done with it, but I've made my peace so I can survive. But now I have put that book in with the box. They're together. That should be good.
People are, what is that?
Where did the book come from?
The book, it's from the late 1600s. A huge book, beautiful book.
It is a beautiful book.
Fabulous, like graphics and Gothic writing.
The condition is amazing.
Right. And it's all in Latin. Valuable book on its own. But the story was, who was it? Like a Monsignor or people, a cardinal. A cardinal had it. What was his name? Do you remember?
No, never.
Fabrizio or something. It's on the information by the book. I don't remember it offhand. But he supposedly is attached, right? And then so somehow it got from Rome to Ohio in a in a monastery, but where the nuns live. And the nuns cared for that book since he brought it over in early 1800s. And the last nun that had it, I guess they would pass it down.
Yep.
The last nun that owned it would go into trances if she was with it too long. That was the one claim.
And we witnessed that firsthand ourselves.
Then when she passed on, it went to her sister who didn't want it because she was a nun. And so then I ended up getting it. And
we witnessed the trans thing ourselves. And here's the thing. I do believe certain objects have the ability, and I don't know how you would even describe this, but I think they have the ability to kind of trick people into engaging.
Oh, I think they draw you in.
Yeah, and I think with certain people, the repercussions or the effect is different,
Well, we actually had a skeptic dealing with it.
Oh, man, did we ever?
Yeah.
He ain't no more.
No more.
Not that it's funny. It's not funny
at all. Funny at all.
Yeah.
It's
But
very heartbreaking.
And yet it's a religious book. So
Right.
I think it's all about the guy protecting the book, the spirit protecting the book. So he's lashing out.
But in a case like that, personally, do you feel bad
No.
when
When somebody else,
when that happened, when you see the effect of that's possibly, I mean, there was no way to predict
but she did say
what happened there.
But Donna
she actually
always
warned.
gives cautions
Yeah.
and tells. It's not like she never leaves us in the dark or anybody
No,
about anything. When this person wanted to deal with it, she
explained.
told them.
Yeah, she explained.
And they
everything.
go, I don't believe in that.
And that's the problem. We
Yeah,
didn't
the
believe.
hardest part is convincing a skeptic or
Yep.
somebody skeptical. Look, we're not screwing around. This is the real deal. Now, in all fairness to me, I only had so much of that story on that book.
You did.
We were just starting to investigate it.
Yeah.
So we had what we had. So
I don't even think we got to before he
think that it would do something bad, something good.
Well, I'll tell you a story about that. Tanya wanted to investigate that book this past weekend.
Yeah.
It's one of the 3 objects. She went to it and said, I'm drawn to that book. And I said, no way. And she said, why not? I want to. I said, no friggin' way. And she said, but I said, no way.
Well, here's the good thing. It's in with the box now, and I have the only key to the lock.
Do you want to hear what's funny, Donna? Because I actually, when we left that night, and I said to John that I'm surprised she doesn't have it locked away.
I do.
Like where it's not even with the other stuff, where like when we open the door, like you're the one who puts the stuff in there and locks. But when we go to investigate, I'm usually the one that goes in and brings the stuff out that we're going to investigate.
Right.
And I said to him, with as much as what we've gotten after, and I'm not going to reveal what it was, but when we got more information from you of something else that happened, I was just like, I'm really shocked. And I told him that it's still there and not. And then you just said you did that.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I couldn't leave it where it can be handled. And I thought, what a perfect punishment for the box for Willie.
Because I even told Tanya, I go, don't even pick anything out of here because I'm not opening it.
Cardinal.
Clash of the Titans back there.
Got a crazy creature and we got a crazy cardinal. Let him have at it. Must be interesting. And everybody that went in this weekend said, wow, there's a weird energy in the back of that room. There's a weird energy. I'm
not surprised.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Not surprised. But I even told them, don't pick anything in this cabinet because I'm not opening
it. Did you ever get too attached to any particular item and you wouldn't sell it?
I do have a couple items here that I would never sell.
Would you talk about them? I don't think we even talked about them.
One is actually just a portrait, a little portrait of a post-mortem baby, a little dead girl. She's maybe 3 years old. But I have a very strong attachment to it. And it actually got me collecting those type of photographs.
Really?
But I've sold all the photographs, but she sits over my desk and I see her every day. I don't know who she is. I have no way of tracking down who she is.
Right. I don't know who that is either.
I don't.
Momo, what you doing, Momo?
Oh, he wants to be
what you doing, Momo? I see you.
All right. I have no way of tracking, who it is, but it's just something I've had for 30 years already. And then I have some like small vanity pieces. I don't have anything large. I actually sold a lot of the pieces. Freddie's bracelet, I swear.
You were apprehensive about selling that one for a while.
Well, because Freddie thought I was his mom. Oh. Remember? And it's a little hard to sell your child then once they hear their mother. But Kelly bought Freddie's.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's another question. There's a good question, too. What do you think of people like her that collect such a volume of haunted objects? Are they more like you? Are they... What is your opinion when you meet someone like that just buys item after item after item? And they're not just the good, the bad, the everything.
Right. Well, she even said she's pretty much just attracted to the child spirits.
Okay.
For the most part. I think she has a genuine attachment to these pieces, to the people that are attached to these pieces once she has them, and they are her family and her friends. They are.
She's the caretaker of them.
Huh? Yeah.
She gets very, like, you got attached to that picture of that little
Right,
girl,
right.
she gets very attached.
You think
to them
that's the same
inside.
for everyone who buys 10,
do.
12, 15
Well, no,
objects?
I've had quite a few more guys buying things, men,
Okay.
and the reason they're doing it is strictly for paranormal investigation.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've got look at your
I don't know
uncle.
how you handle that thing.
He's gonna get you. The devil. See, the devil's right here.
Momo! Don't make me come over there, Momo. I see you.
Momo's eating her up.
He's beating me up.
So
Yeah.
somebody wanted to know, did they miss when you guys said you were going
Hey,
to do
Barbara.
the auction?
The auction is this Friday on Facebook Live at 8:00 on our Facebook page. You click in, you'll be able to see I'm putting my opening bids, I'm putting increments, and what's going to happen is our friend John is going to help me, and we're going to do a 15-minute question and answer period about the pieces. And you have any questions about the background, the claims, you know, we can answer those questions at that time. And then we sell it.
So that'll be on the Creeper Gallery page. It won't be
Right.
here. It'll be over on the Creeper Gallery page. So just go on Facebook and follow and like that page.
Right.
Real quick, Donna, because
Sure.
somebody brought up Zach Baggins. Could you tell that story real quick on how you're associated with Zach Baggins?
Yeah, he found us on Instagram. He had just bought the building to build the museum, and he saw our stuff, and he contacted us. We did a video, and we did a video of the shop, and he bought everything. So we had to actually physically close the shop for a couple of weeks, pack it all up, send it out to him. And I kind of developed like a relationship with him, you know, working with him. And we're talking about a lot of stuff. And then he commissioned me to do 6 or 7.
She's possessed.
How in the world? Look at him. He's so craved for attention.
This is what she
Look at
gets
him.
all the time. This is what she keeps trying to
Look at
say. This
Momo.
is Momo.
Momo!
He's like a piranha here.
I mean, look at him. He's just.
Did 6 or 7 commission pieces for his sideshow room.
Yeah.
And then he bought a bunch more of my art, like Victorian murder scenes, a bunch of stuff. And then he came back. He said, "Oh, okay, what's in the shop now?" And you know, that was in probably 6 months later. You know, bought about 1/3 of the shop, 2/3 of the shop again. And then he said, "Oh, you know, if I get a building next to the museum, would you guys open a creeper gallery?" I'm like, "Nah." Yeah, I had an empty shop, and you know, I worked with him for about 1.5 years. Very nice guy, really nice guy. He's down to earth. I know. I always thought he had kind of a big ego, but then when you actually get to know him,
Yeah, I heard that about him.
yeah, he's just
People say about me until they get to know me, and then they say, "Oh yeah, he's got a big ego." Momo!
So has he been interested in any of your haunted pieces?
Huh?
Has he been interested in any of your haunted pieces?
Yes, he wanted the curse box bad, and I didn't sell it to him.
Yeah.
He may still get it. I don't know, but he
Down the
wanted.
line.
Actually, ended up with Jack the doll.
No, really?
Jack the doll's there.
Oh, cool.
Oh, John licked the head of Jack.
I did.
You licked the head of Jack, and so I sold him to a guy in Australia after 1 year. Once I had to shut down for COVID, I needed the money, so I'm like, I'll sell him. Had to pay the rent, and so I sold him to the guy in Australia. And then 6 months later, the guy said, "Oh my God, this is destroying my family. It's been nothing but horrible luck." And actually, when the plane landed with Jack, Australia caught on fire. That's when it was on fire.
Oh my God.
But he ended up somehow selling it to Zach.
Wow.
You get people coming out of the red room like saying, you know, something happened or they're nauseous or something touched them. Do you get that often?
All the time.
We should have some kind of warning up there that says, you know, like Zach has, you know, the whole.
Well, it says enter at your own risk. So
Yeah, it does.
you're going into a room with haunted items. I mean, it's possible you're going to get touched, right?
Well, here's the thing. That's how I kind of came to know Donna. I was Googling for our cable access show, different people, and I came across this article about Zach Baggins and Haunted Objects from some lady in New Hope. And I said, let me reach out to her. And I called her and she's like, other paranormal people have, asked me for years to come in here. And I said, well, they're not me, honey. And she said, you're right. You need to get in here. No, I'm kidding. No, we talked for a while and we hit it off and we joked like we do now. And then I met her and we filmed, and I'm filming. Now she's telling me the story of Madeline. Now, I don't know if any of you guys really know who Madeline is. We kind of reference her being there
a lot,
but Madeline is actually the spirit in the building.
Yeah.
Madeline came with the building.
She came with the building. I must be paying rent for her. I don't know.
But there was a fire, right? Years and years ago, and supposedly Madeline.
Late 1700s, that whole town burned down.
Okay.
Because it used to be Coriel's Ferry. It was like a mill town, burned to the ground. And what we were told was there was a wooden shanty there with a tin roof, metal roof. And it was not just Madeline. There were several, like 10 people lived in the house supposedly, but it burned down. When Coriel's Ferry burned down, it burned down and the family went with it.
Oh.
But somehow Madeline's the only one that stays behind. Yeah. She never leaves. We have tried to move her on. I'm sure a million people have come through and tried to move her on, but she's not going anywhere. She was really destructive, really destructive.
Well, that's what Donna told me initially when I met her. I'm literally interviewing Donna, and I have it on camera, which is the most amazing thing. Chris is filming me, and I'm talking to Donna. I'm interviewing Donna about the Creeper Gallery and the artwork and talking about how that store doesn't fit in New Hope, restaurants, galleries, fancy. And then there's the Creeper Gallery, And as I'm talking to her, she's telling me about the things that are going on in there and the objects. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And the cabinet behind me, there's a lock with a chain. And the thing literally flew off.
Yeah.
And started going back and forth. And I went.
And I go, Chris, I caught it.
Are you
I saw it.
And Donna was like, yeah, that happens all the time.
It's like,
it literally happened right in front of me.
Yeah, so I don't pay attention to all that stuff.
I was hooked. So then she told me about Madeline's toys being under the table and how she has a note. Don't touch Madeline's toys. If you do, we pay the price.
We did.
And sure enough, I had to. I have to. You don't dare me. And I did, and sure enough, I get a message or a call the next day saying, did you mess with anything? Because there was a bird or something on the wall that they found on the floor.
She had her front door, but you also had the table or something come down on you because of it, right? And you hurt your thumb?
Actually, with the table.
Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad.
Bad, man. And boy, that put a hurting on me.
It did. It was bad.
I had just brought him in and he didn't want to be in there.
And now you're just like, that's it. I'm making it so nobody can touch her toys.
Well, we have talked to Madeline during investigations. When we first went there, that was the whole first episode was
Madeline.
The Creeper Gallery. Yeah. The part where you walk into the store is all Donna's artwork.
Yeah.
And that's where we investigated. We were, and we were trying to, and Madeline did interact with us at that point. And
Madeline misses you too, because nobody really, now that I have the red room,
they don't talk to her.
Madeline, yeah.
And I think she's the one who kind of, for lack of a better word, welcomes the other child spirits whenever she brings in another item or a doll that belonged to a child or a kid. I think Madeline kind of shows them the ropes and explains, hey, there's nothing to worry about here. This is what this is,
And she's been quiet now that the red room's open. There's so many spirits in and out. She's actually been really quiet, so I think she's just tending to the flock, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I do think when you hear the noises out front or shuffling or cabinets, it's her. That's what she always did, and she's still doing it, but she's not on the forefront of our mind when we're there. I'm used to it now. I don't even think about her. Nobody touches her toys. They're hidden under the table. And she's been kind of quiet, even opening the one cabinet door that she would open it right into people and not have to lock it. I'm like, man.
That's what Kathy just said on here, that the last event she went to, She opened the door right behind her and scared her.
Yeah, those initial shows are all on YouTube. If you go search New Jersey Paranormal on YouTube, you'll see how, again, when we met Donna, you'll see that first
Interview.
introduction, and then you'll see the cursed box, and then you'll see, I mean, we did 3 episodes, I think, one after the other. And we had Kelly on about her object in the Cape.
Laura wants to know.
Yeah, that's a really good
Have
question.
you ever done a seance at the gallery or only investigations?
Oh, I'm waiting for Jane.
Yep.
That we could set that up next week, man. We should do that.
Well, we were going to do it, but then COVID hit.
Yeah.
We should do that. We should definitely do that.
Good night, John.
Whenever she's ready, I'm ready.
All right, good. I'll talk to her. I think that would be an incredible idea.
I think it would be great.
So do I.
She might freak out, though.
No.
And there might be way too many energies there to deal with, I'm sure. Not to mention the energies of the objects, and then the energy around the people would be kind of like, how do you partition that, you know?
You'd have to arrange it with her, and
Yeah, I'll definitely talk to her afterwards. So again, one of the reasons we're doing this, because we're getting close to an hour, one of the reasons we're doing this is because Donna is going to start live auctions for haunted items, and she's starting this Friday on the Creeper Gallery Facebook page, and we're going to be driving up to her, and we're going to be helping her with the first auction. There's going to be, I think, 4 items.
4 items. Each item we're going to kind of try and dedicate 15 minutes to, so everybody's comfortable with what they're getting. And you were present at the investigation.
Yeah.
You know, so that they have any questions that you would be the person to answer. And we're going to try it. Let's see how it works. Because
and again, the way this is going to be done is different than other auctions where it's just, okay, item number 1,
we're going to
$20. Here we go. Going 25, 30, 35. I mean, this is really something Donna's been thinking about working on for a while now. Yeah. And it is not going to be like other auctions. It's going to be haunted objects, A, B,
an education.
That light just started like it was an earth. I'm having problems with my vision, and the light next to me literally looked like it was going to fall down. It started shaking when I looked at it, so I'm getting close to the end here.
It actually went. But Barbara wants to know, how often are you going to be doing these auctions?
I'm hoping to do it once a month. So the old way I used to sell, I'd post something, and within 3 minutes, I had 5 people wanting to buy it, not asking price, not asking if it's, what it's on. They didn't know anything. But they all know my process. They all know they got to wait a couple months. And so I would make lists. The first person on the list, second person on the list, third person on the list. If it's something bad and the first person didn't want it, the second person would get it. But the problem with the lists are they're so time consuming now. Yeah. And there's such a high demand. And then you have collectors pitted against one another, which you do at auction, but it's different. I don't want to have to worry about it. So I will still sell, but now my way of selling is first come, first serve. Once investigation's finished, a price goes on it. First come, first serve. I'm not doing lists anymore. Some of the cooler items you might see an auction tag on, which will be hopefully like 4 items a month.
Okay, but you are still selling the items in the shop too, other items, all the other items.
Right. She's not just reserving.
Right.
Not that it actually in the last year, you couldn't have bought an item out of the shop. I mean, everything gets sold before it even gets investigated.
Yeah, I know.
So there hasn't been. All you'll see is sale pending, sold, sale pending. This way, it's giving everybody a chance. You know what I mean?
And people who can't get there, like you said, I mean,
Exactly. And
Annette would like to know, what time will this auction start?
8:00. 8:00. And
I'll share the event on our page so that you guys can see it.
We'll be actually doing that, saying hi, doing the Q&A for the first item, talking about it a little bit and answering questions. So if you get in a little late, that's fine, because we're actually technically probably won't actually bid on that item until 8:15.
So that's Friday, 8:00 on the Creeper Gallery page. I'll post the event here on this page so you guys know to just tune in. Then, even if you're not bidding or buying, tell your friends, watch it, see, maybe something will, you'll be interested in. And like Donna and I were talking about the other day, I mean, they're going to run the gambit from lower priced to
buying. Well, the problem is my bad habit is buying cool antique things,
right,
which are not thrift store.
Right. These aren't like.
So I pay a lot for some things, right? So the one thing I will say is I don't make a lot of money. If I make a little bit, that's fine. It covers everything. But you know, you're looking at 2 months investigation. That's a lot of like.
Oh yeah.
Right. But
people get the folder too when they.
Yeah, I actually am doing. Can't really tell on this, but I'm doing a folder for each one. It'll have a picture on the front. I'm not good with that. And then on the inside, you'll have your history and claims, some of the investigation, and the psychic impressions.
Okay.
And then you'll also receive the tag, the catalog tag for that item. You can put it on the item or keep it with the folder, however you want to do it. But all 4 items will get that. The starting bid on the lowest priced item is $50.
Okay.
The highest priced item is $500.
Okay.
So the other 2 fall in between. I think one $115.
So Kathy asks, when it comes to the auction, you just type in the bid?
Yep. $10 increments. So if I have an opening bid, say of 50, you know, that's my starting bid. You bid 60. That's it. You know, and you go till you don't want to go anymore. And it'll go to the highest bidder. Depending on, you know, if it goes real low where I'm not making anything, I'll have to charge you shipping. But, you know, or you can pick it up at the shop, either way. But, you know, if it goes at a reasonable price and I can make a little profit on it, I'll happily ship it for free. So.
Good deal.
Okay, so there you have it. So this is the first of what will hopefully be a continual thing that Donna's doing. First one I do for free. She's going to have to pay me if I appear. I'm on Kindred Spirits and Dead File, so I can't be doing this stuff for free anymore.
But you're also on Creeper Gallery's very first auction. So.
There you go. So there's another one I could add to my new poster that I'm creating. I seen on.
Also, coming out this week, fingers crossed. We keep a journal in the Red Room.
Right.
And in that Red Room, the customers for the last 3 years have written in what they're feeling, what they're sensing, or goofy shit, you know. But I've kept that. I'm on my 3rd journal now that's full. But the first journal, we're releasing kind of a pseudo comedy bit about readings from the Red Room. So
I've read some of them, so I can imagine.
Some are hysterical.
I could imagine.
Serious, some are hysterical.
Yep.
But we're going to present a couple, probably 10 or 11.
That's a good question.
That's a very good question. Sylvia wanted to know during the auction if they win, you know, the winning bid, how do they pay?
Okay, so I get paid through PayPal, but you can use your credit cards, you know, however you do it. So what happens is after the auction, get a hold of you, I get your information, and I send you an invoice, and you pay it. And that's it. And I ship it to you, or you come pick it up, however we decide to do it. So the main thing is you're going to direct message me after the auction, and then we'll figure out what's the easiest for both of us.
Okay. All right, guys. That's Donna in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And Momo. Momo is.
And
Momo. Oh, he pumped himself out. Momo. You pumped yourself out, Momo. Let him look at
his head.
Yeah, he waited till the end of it to stop biting me.
Monica just asked, are these items secured with salt? Are they safe?
Well, the items are safe unless you decide to channel them in. But anytime you buy a haunted item, there's no guarantee that spirit isn't able to come out and play with you. You know, who can guarantee? So if you're uncomfortable, you can salt them, sage them, whatever you want. I personally don't find that helps. You may look at John. It
don't help.
I just don't. And not saying it doesn't, but you would have to do that yourself. I do not tamp the spirits down in any way. ever.
Yeah, and you know, here's the deal too. Like, listen to what the object, the claims, listen to the research, listen to what we got during the investigation, and decide if you want to have that type of energy around you and in your
just
home.
remember, a positive energy is
Exactly.
energy.
Exactly.
If you
They're
bring
not all bad.
no
Not at all. Some
along
are very good.
your house, that was a priest that had that power.
Well, I'll reference one like real quick that I remember off the top of my head. There was a book or something that was the notes between the mother and the daughter and
Oh,
the
I have
family,
that.
as I recall. That's the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
That one had
It's nothing but
amazing
great
energy
energy.
attached to it.
positive energy, right?
Yeah.
And I have to say, I have it in my room and where I keep the cat. Believe it or not, you're gonna laugh about this. That psycho cat that has her own room,
Likes it.
that book is in there, and she's a nicer cat when I go in there. Where
Well,
before
sure.
I had to go in full battle gear to protect myself.
It's positive
And
energy.
like, yeah, some of these objects are grateful that there is another caretaker of them that's taking them in,
and they're only going to communicate with you if you want them to. If you don't call to them, they're not going to come out and play.
Yep.
You have to actually call to them to get them to come play, right? So now, if it's a negative thing, that's a whole other animal.
yeah, then
Yeah,
it's
that's something different.
Play
yeah,
whether you want them to or not. But generally, a good positive
definitely.
is just going to put positive energy
Yeah.
in you. But they will interact if you want them to.
Yeah.
But isn't that the key? Like you said, the things you're drawn to. So if somebody is watching your auction, it's all about something you're drawn to and brings out those emotions that are a good thing. Like that book that Kelly got for me.
Yes.
There's something about that book that I feel very tied and connected to.
It was meant for you. I believe this with all my heart. These are going where they're meant to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
I believe that too.
the occasions where I've shipped them the wrong place and they ended up crisscrossing 5 times and ended up both together.
I believe it.
Things happen where, oh, this person remember the one person lost their home, but then another person that wanted it from day one got it. So I do believe ultimately they end up where they're supposed to be. And they're happy.
I want to know what happens with the female impersonator. That piece is absolutely phenomenal.
The impersonator is going home with a female impersonator.
There you go.
Is it really?
Meant to be.
See?
Meant to be.
Perfect.
And think of all the things that item went through to get to where
all his
it's going.
Jewelry, and it's going to be a lovely thing.
But you know what I mean? Think of the whole the story of that item to get to where.
Well, yeah,
where
and
it is.
thing in that era, like Chris was saying during the event, they killed people like that.
Yeah.
There was no tolerance.
But like you said, it's going where it belongs, and that's amazing.
I pointed out to him when I opened it up because they were all like really scared to touch it because it is very delicate and very extravagant.
Yes.
When I opened it up and I saw the dedication to his mom.
I know.
Killed me.
Okay, guys, I've about had enough. I'm sorry. I'm trying here, but
I expected your pirate patch. You know?
No, I wasn't doing that on the line.
Oh,
I should have. I definitely should
You
have.
should have.
But thank you, Donna. Thanks for coming on and watch the auction Friday night, 8:00. And we'll see you guys later in the week. Remember, Creeper Gallery, follow the Creeper Gallery. That's where you're going to see it. Not here. You're going to see it over there.
That's right.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Stay
Thanks
safe.
for watching.
Be kind.
Later.
Good night.
Night.
You're fading, aren't you?